Robert's face during that intro. Is this ever going to end? Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast. Yes, once I announced that we're having a wee break, then Rangers decided to go and do some business, which they have done today with the free signing of Clinton Nsiala. Nsiala? How do you pronounce it, Robert?
I'm going to go Nsiala, yeah.
Nsiala, that'll do. From AC Milan. Joining me to discuss is Iain, Robert, and Mark. Gentlemen, good evening. Hello. Hello, everybody in the comments. Let everybody watching. If you haven't already, please do give the show a like and make sure you are subscribed on the old YouTube, follow on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. And are we on anything else, Iain?
No, not that I can think of right now.
Right,
YouTube,
cool.
Rabble, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, follow on all that stuff as well. And get your comments in. Let us know what you think of the signing as well. And I will try and bring up as many comments as I can. So, Mark, young boy, not made obviously a senior appearance yet for AC. Well, he won't now. He's not made a senior appearance for AC Milan, but has been a mainstay in their under-20s side. 6 foot, apparently. Good bit of business.
I mean, listen, decent pedigree. The proof's probably going to be the pudding, but yeah, on paper it looks like a very good signing. 20-year-old. You said 6 foot. I'll see you 6'3", and a transfer market says he's 6'1". So
1.82 meters apparently.
I've seen 1.88, which makes him 6'3", nearly 6'4". So, but he looks a big lad. Put it that way. He looks big, physical. Aggressive. Don't really know hundreds about him. I don't know a lot about him, but on paper it looks like a very, very good signing. Left-footed, left-sided centre half. So I believe he can play centre mid as well. So very, very good signing on paper. Proof will be in the pudding when there's a big, ugly ginger guy with no front teeth kicking lumps at him. We'll see how that pans out in Scotland. But on paper it looks like a very good signing.
Well, that could be Iain, because according to Iain, he's 5'10". No, 100%.
I must have wondered, who have I signed for?
And Robert, it's weird because that was the first thing you said to me before we started. You said, "Is this a signing for the first team?"
That's it. You know, listen, I know nothing about him. Then you look him up; he's hardly kicked a ball at professional level. Somebody said he was a mainstay in AC Milan's under-20 side. I'm not having mainstay in unders football, all right? Mainstays for the men's game, but no, listen, it fits a profile that we seem to be matching. Hefty's 20-year-old. The guy that we like at Bayern Munich, Yusuf Kabadai, hopefully said his name right, is 20-year-old as well. So it seems to be a formula that Niels Koppen is plotting together. But much like Mark, it's not so much worrying about the ability, it's the mentality for me. These guys are going to experience nothing like this. If they're going to come in, they're going to be under pressure like no other. We're already, chasing, our first title in what will be 4 years. So yeah, I saw some guys in the comments say we're building a team for next season. It won't happen. It's got to be in from the off. So we'll see what he's made of. Interesting, obviously, Balogun signed a new deal. He's probably at the other end of his career, so it'll be up to guys like that to get their arm around them and try and get the best out of them. But, Milan's a great place for any player to have played, whether it's under-20s or first-team football. He'll have a good education. I think he's French as well. I think he's played some football for under-16s at that level. So he'll have something about him. But again, as I say, he'll have experienced nothing like this when he comes up here.
No. And like channel member Alan is saying, it's a bit of a gamble with this signing, but he's clearly very highly rated. So it could be a great finding. And from what we hear, AC Milan were desperate to keep him.
apparently they wanted to offer him a new 2-year deal. There were other teams in Italy sniffing around, as well as outside of Italy. So maybe we've gone on a steal on this one. And there's a couple of people already in the comments saying, "Don't worry that we don't know him, because we didn't know Rino Gattuso when he came over either." And we're all like slightly a little bit gutted that he left us in the end. Obviously, the choice was him or Barry, so I think we made a good one. But we've been screaming for younger players to come into the club, young and hungry. Now we're doing it, and people are worried that we're signing young and hungry players at the start of a window that hasn't actually officially opened yet. So I get the trepidation due to his age and not knowing our game, but you have to have some confidence in Kloppen and in Clement that they know what they're doing. They've done it before. I'm pretty sure this is the remit he kind of followed in Bruges as well. So we look forward to seeing him play. I mean, if he's as good as the bits I have seen, I mean, I don't know a great deal about him, but the bits that I've read so far, if he's as good as that, then I think we might have caught a start early on with this one.
It begs the question, Mark, but in no means am I belittling Rangers when I ask this question. If AC Milan want to offer you a new 2-year deal, why are you turning that down?
I think the bigger picture, obviously, and probably I'll reiterate what you said, no belittling Rangers, but he's probably got more of a chance at Rangers than he has at AC Milan. And that's kind of the nature of the beast. As Robert stated earlier, this is the way things are going to need to go, I think, for Rangers. Bringing in young players with potential, trying to make money on them, trying to bring them in, nurture them, bring them into the first team, make them stars, hopefully, and then punt them on for big money. That's the only way it's going to happen. And listen, we're saying a bit of a gamble. It's a young boy, never played senior football. From AC Milan, he's not going to be in stupid money we're getting for nothing. So for me, it's a no-brainer, really. As I said earlier, on paper, that looks great as far as I'm concerned. You bring in the best cream of the crop from all over Europe, 20-year-old, and you get them for free, and you're not really paying any sort of a massive amounts of money. And to be fair, looking at our business so far, we're not really spending a lot of money, which for me is good business. I think, well, we're bringing players in that are only going to be in stupid amounts of money per week and stuff like that, looking to build them. And I think probably looking at it, the start of it looks good. But I think that if we don't sign some done and tried and tested kind of finished article players, I think you need to sprinkle a bit of that in with a lot of youth to try and be successful, because we're not going to win the league with young boys and free transfers. Simple as that.
Right, well, here's what Rangers said. Right, this was the announcement on the official club website. Rangers Football Club are delighted to announce the pre-contract signing of Clinton Nsiala from AC Milan. Clinton will officially join the club on July the 1st, subject to international clearance and a successful work permit application. The 20-year-old defender will become the third arrival of the summer following the additions of Shefty and Oscar Cortez, and is an exciting prospect for the future at Ibrox. Nsiala joined the youth academy, I can't pronounce that, before making the move to Nantes as a 15-year-old. The young defender spent 2 years in the youth ranks of the League One side, impressing sufficiently to earn a move to AC Milan in 2021. From there, Clinton was a regular fixture in Milan's under-19 side, who reached the final of the prestigious UEFA Youth League last term, starting 9 of the 10 fixtures across the campaign. In the meantime, the 20-year-old was included in the matchday squad for several of AC Milan Serie A outings last season, earning valuable experience under manager Stefano Pioli. And Niels Koppen, I should say, said, "We are excited to add a talented young player in Clinton to the squad. He joins as an exciting talent who we believe can develop and take his next steps under our manager, Philippe Clement, and his staff. We look forward to welcoming Clinton to Glasgow as he continues to shape the squad ahead of the 2024-25 campaign." I don't know why I wasn't a newsreader, but there we go. And I suppose, Robert, I'll kind of take the same kind of point to you. The AC Milan wanted to keep him, as we believe there was clubs in Germany were looking at him. So the fact that a young guy with not a great deal of experience in the game is actually willing and wants to come to Scotland, a complete unknown country, to play for a team where he'll be more than aware of the pressure that we'll be under. That speaks wonders for me. That's massive. And you're on mute. Oh, yellow card. Yellow card.
You just kind of wonder what conversation had been had with the manager then, and Neil Scoppin in particular, to sort of sell him the club. But listen, what does it say for guys like Ifeko and Leon King, who were on the periphery last season, had a wee taste of it? That's pushed them down, certainly. If this kid's coming in from AC Milan, similar ages, obviously playing the same position. So, as I say, it's great that we're signing these young guys, and it looks like we're going to try and really push for this new model in terms of player trading, etc. So that's brilliant. That's what we want. But as Mark says, when are we going to start bringing in the marquee signings, the ones that get you off your seat? And I think maybe that's going to come after some bodies go out the door. That's where the money's going to come from. I think when they need to drum up some business to get the manager a bit of a kitty so he can go out and start spending on players that he wants rather than players that he's dealt with, to try and get us through these European qualifiers, because I still think that Champions League money is very, very important.
Massively. Absolutely massive. And just a final point on Clinton and Iain. There's quite a few people pointing out that, this guy's got next to no experience, which is fair enough. We've said that we're trusting the manager to build a team, and we'll expect, obviously, signings to come in with a bit more experience. But just to finalise the point that, albeit he never got on, but he was part of that AC Milan first team squad as well last season. So he's got the experience of being round the first team. And I think we just have to trust in the manager, and we have to trust in Niels Koppen, who, like you said, done it at Bruges, done it in Belgium, brought in youth players, and then sprinkled, obviously, some experience on top.
Yeah, and you've just got to have that confidence in that they're going to do that. I mean, this is pre-season signings that we're making. So they're out of contract. They're willing to talk to anybody. The transfer market, when we're going to bring, probably have to pay a little bit to get the experienced guys in. Doesn't start till July. So we're going to have to wait till then for those guys. And plus, the European championships are going to have an effect on the transfer market itself. You're going to have to wait for that to get going. It's always the same in a world or a European footballing tournament year. You've got to wait for the cycle to start. So once it gets going, I'm sure those guys will come in. I'm excited because that's 3 young players. That's the trading model finally, hopefully beginning, and what we've been clamoring for years now. So hopefully we've started that process. And like you say, you've just got to have confidence in Clement and Kloppen to do the job, because this is what we've brought them here for. And now they're finally going to do it. Let's give them a chance to actually prove to us what they're going to do.
Just very quickly then, Mark, just on another couple of rumours that we're hearing. The biggest one that I believe a lot of people will want to happen, I think it's a lot of nonsense from me personally, but we're hearing that there might be interest in Saudi for James Tavernier and Connor Goldson for both of them. What do you make of that? Do you think there's any truth in it?
I don't know. The other one as well today was Besiktas were after Tavernier as well. That's Van Bronckhorst just took over there. So listen, see if there is. I mentioned it previously. They would, both of them would go with my thanks. I think probably next season might be a season too far for both of them. They would, and listen, see if you can raise some money. I don't think you would get money for any of the two of them anywhere else, bar Saudi. So if you can bring in, I mean, the money that they're talking about is around about the 7 million mark as well. So for me, that brings you a decent, as Robert was saying, that brings you in a marquee signing. Whether it be a centre half, whether it be a number 6, or whether it be a striker, that's money paid for. So for me, that's a good bit of business for what a almost 33-year-old and a 32-year-old, almost 32-year-old. So for me, that's a decent bit of business. If you can get 7 million for guys at the end of their career, then I'd bite the hand off you for it. But both of them will go with my thanks. I think they've been good servants to the club. I'm not going to badmouth any of the two of them, but I think maybe it's time to go for the pair of them.
Is it no easy journalism though? Lazy journalism, Robert, to go, right, well, Gio's went in at Besiktas, so clearly he's going to come in for the likes of Tom Lawrence and Tavernier, and we've heard it for the last 2 seasons about Steven Gerrard wanting to take these two.
Look, I think people put 2 and 2 together and get 5, whatever it is, but until the money's on the table, then we don't really know if it, what's going to happen there. I certainly think, like Mark says, if there is serious talk, then it needs to be had, because you've not got many assets in that squad that are going to raise you some capital. Having missed out on the automatic Champions League money, then you're at their mercy really, because we're already behind. We don't want to be further behind, so it's really important. I think Clement's under a bit of pressure as well. How the season finished, he's going to get his first proper transfer window. January transfer window is obviously notoriously quite difficult as well. So he'll be judged on what he brings in and how they start. You've got the qualifiers, then the league. An early game against Celtic away from home with the first Old Firm fixture, so it will all sort of come quickly. So it's important that the business that's done is done well. We can't afford too many mistakes. I get that projects and trying to make money on players, and that's all well and good, but you've got to have that good nucleus of squad. And if it means clearing out Tavernier and Goldson, then so be it. I did think towards the end of the season, especially, you look at that semi-final against Hearts, Goldson looks done, finished. I don't see him coming back from that, and Tavernier maybe just want a change. So if it is Saudi Arabia or Turkey, wherever it may be, just it needs to be a serious conversation. Take which money you can and replenish that into the playing squad.
And I'll take this to Ian, but if you want to jump in after it, Robert, then you can, because it was you that mentioned this. But obviously, Nsiala coming in, Ian, he's a left-sided centre-back. We currently have Ben Davies, who can play there. We have Leon Balogun, who can play either side, but also Leon King, along with obviously Connor Goldson's still there. So personally, I don't think Goldson will go. I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to want him. So for me, he stays. Ben Davies is going to be really difficult to get rid of because he's not played a lot of football. And I don't really know, again, out there who's going to want to buy him. So we've brought this boy in. We've still got John Souttar there as well. Is this pretty much the end now for Leon King?
I would say it was the end for Leon King. I don't like to badmouth the younger players at the club, because it's a difficult thing to do, particularly for Leon King, who last season had to come in and play Champions League football with barely any first team football behind him at all. But he hasn't kicked on from that. And even when he came in this season, he still looked shaky. He got beat in the air at Hearts' last game of the season. And that's what I'm not saying that that's the be-all and end-all of it, but I don't see him getting many first-team football at the club this season. So either he's going to be loaned out to get experience to look for a season or two later, but how much longer can we keep him? He's not... I know he's still a youth player, but he's 20... Is he 20 now? 20, 21 now. So how long can an outfield player sit around in the back? Because we've just signed a 20-year-old who signed for AC Milan and was in and amongst the first team, and who AC Milan wanted to keep. And is Leon King at that same level? Only time will tell. But I do think it might be the end for Leon King, unfortunately.
I think if King's honest with himself, he'd say the same, that, he probably needs to go away and play first-team football. Whether that is alone and he comes back and miraculously finds his way in, just good luck to him. There's no bad blood there. As you said before, he was thrown into a Champions League campaign probably at the wrong time. It was just through circumstance rather than his own destiny. When it comes to Ben Davies, it's a real strange one, because you keep hoping that he can turn it around and actually make a go at Rangers. He came up with so much promise, and then he's never really got going. That horrific time at Celtic Park, partly with John Souttar, and I think he never really recovered that. Some personal problems, I think, off the pitch as well. But again, another player, if a bid comes in, they'll need to be sat down and spoke about. There was something I saw earlier on today about Ridvan Yilmaz. I know it was a rag for Scotland, but it said something like he'd been, talking to the club about an exit, even though he doesn't want to go. So again, if there's any player that's, but there's a serious bid, it'll need to be spoken about, because we're going to need to get funds from somewhere, and you're just hoping none of it comes back to the goalkeeper. It is just wee bits and pieces that you can probably replace, because I do feel at the minute the goalkeeper's probably the only guy in the squad that's maybe irreplaceable.
Well, on the defence, Mark, right, I'm thinking on the right-hand side right now, as it stands, we have Tav and Sterling, although people will argue maybe they want Sterling to play in the middle, but right now, as it stands, Tav and Sterling. In the middle, the centre-back positions, like I say, we've got Balogun, we've got Goldson, we've got Souttar, we've got Davies, and now we've obviously got Nsiala and, of course, Leon King. And on the left, you've got Shefty, and you've got Yilmaz, like Robert says. So would you be happy with that lineup going into the new season? Because obviously I don't see any other defenders, I don't see any other left-backs, right-backs coming in unless we get rid of some.
I think you'll probably find if Yilmaz stays, then we'll not bring another left-sided player in, I wouldn't think. For me, I would probably get the centre half position. I would get shot at pretty much all of them. I mean, even Suter for me is no, he's been half decent, but no for me. But I'm looking for a centre half to go. Wow, he's outstanding. And Suter's never wowed me. He's steady enough, but Suter's got mistake in him, and I don't really want to pin my hat on him. To be perfectly honest, if he's going to be the number one centre half, if he's going to be the one marshalling that defence, then I don't think it's good enough. So for me, Davies, I have never ever thought Davies was a bad player. I think he's probably the only his downfall is he's not physical enough for the Scottish game. I think that when he plays, we look balanced, we look decent. He's good with the ball at his feet, reads the game fairly well. Probably not quick enough, probably not aggressive enough, doesn't win enough headers, and that's probably his downfall in the Scottish game. But I would get rid of Goldson. I'd get rid of Davies. Suter I would keep. I think that Rangers fans ruined the young boy King. I think he's shot to pieces after abuse he got for his own fans as a young boy, 18, 19. So I would get shot, absolutely get shot. And I would spend some decent money if we can get decent money into good centre halves. I would think this young boy's coming in as a project player. If he kicks on and becomes a first team player straight away, then all good and well. If he is a bit part player and works his way into the side, I think probably that's the intention with this young boy. So, but for me, the defence needs surgery. I would, if Tav goes, Goldson goes, I'd bring in another right back. For me, Sterling, he's a right back by trade. I don't know why everybody. I take that back. I understand why everybody wants him to play in the middle, because we've not got any bite, we've not got any fight, we've not got any desire in there as it stands. But for me, he's a right back. He played him at right back. It was player of the year for his last team as right back. For me, he looks like as if he's got everything to be a good right back. He's got pace, he's got power, he can get up and down the park. Maybe his final ball's no great, but he's only young, that can come. But for me, this defence especially needs major surgery. So I would get shot at most of them.
Mark, can I
just thank quickly, sorry Robert, just thank quickly Kelly Pie, channel member, for his super sticker. Thank you for the support, Kelly Pie. It is much appreciated, Robert. When I read out those names, I could see your head kind of shaking. So I'll put the same point to you, and I kind of agree with most of what Mark said there. We can't go into the season with that lineup in defence, can we?
No, certainly not. And it was just something Mark said there that I found was quite interesting. Just saying there about Sterling and playing him at his right position, and everyone wants him in the centre. We've had this problem for the last 6 months. He's got a lot of time here to get players in. We shouldn't be starting the season with players playing in the wrong position. It should not happen. He's got plenty of time. He's got a director of football now who should be identifying players, and this should not be a problem. We should have a settled side getting into the start of the campaign, and we shouldn't have any worries regarding he can't play there, or we've not got a right back cover or things like that. So I'm really delighted Mark said what he said about Suter, because I think Suter gets a free pass at times. I really do. I think he gets topped up into this player that I've never seen. He's had I think he had a really good game one night at Hampden against Denmark, and I've never seen much from him in a Rangers jersey. Every time
he's not winning the Euros, Robert, is he?
He's not. Well, I think is that more to do with maybe an injury he was carrying, or
that's even worse for me.
I'm not quite sure, but certainly I just think that every time I see him, he doesn't fill me with any confidence. And if you've got one centre half that doesn't fill you confidence, bad enough when you've got two, you've got Goldson next to him as well. So it does. We need a big character at centre back, somebody with a presence. I know Leon Balogun he's lauded and he is actually good at what he does, but at his age we can't be relying on him for 30-40 games a season. So it's going to need to be go out and spend some money. So interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks. I know we've got the Euros coming, and if they'll be watching that, but bubbling away in the background will be obviously recruitment and signings. I know friendlies have been announced, so there is a bit of activity happening at the club level. So it's interesting. But these guys, as you say, 20-year-olds, great to get them in, but we want the big names and some money spent.
We do, and by the way, we're back tonight at 7:30 with the SPFL Big Fat Quiz. So it's everything on the SPFL, folks. I'm actually glad this happened today, so we could actually talk a wee bit about Rangers. Because if there was nothing about Rangers and then we do that quiz, I know people are going to be right down our throats on that. But just before we go in, and just for all the viewers, I am still in the midst of a 2-day hangover. So that's why I could barely speak and barely read. And I've barely been able to look at my phone, Ian. But I did see, and please tell me if I'm way off pace here, rumours that Cantwell could be leaving.
That's what's been kicking about in our chat. It was broken earlier on by one of the other podders. I'm not going to mention names, but he once went by the name of Freehouse Care. Say that there's potential that Cantwell could be gone. There's anywhere between 4 and 7 clubs looking at him. If you put the bits together from last season, it kind of makes sense.
Was I not supposed to say that then, Ian? No.
I don't know, but it's out there now. It's out there. Breaking news. It's a breaking news pod. So, it's out there. But if he goes, he goes. For me, I'm not overly bothered if Cantwell stays or goes. Better have been at the club and better have left the club, and we've survived without them. So it's one of those. If he can make us some money, he'll go. Again, like with Tav and Goldson, he'll go away with a lot of thanks for being here. He's been superb. You can't knock him for that. But if you put the little bits together, what was going on throughout last season, I don't think that him and Clement seem to get on too well. There's a clash of personality, maybe, or something like that. So maybe for Todd himself, the best thing is to move on. But if he stays, I'll be just as happy. So
not too fussed if he goes, Mark. Do you go along with that?
No, he's a good player. I think when he's at it, he's very good. I think that the problem is that he's not at it enough. And you probably get, for me anyway, I kind of read between the lines, and I think the reason he's not at it enough is because he's not happy. And I think he's not happy because Clement doesn't get on with him or doesn't like him. I think he's a wee bit too much of a Flash Harry type social media, all this. I think Clement's a wee bit, when it comes to stuff like that, a wee bit more old school. And I think that this is why they kind of clash personalities-wise. And hence the reason why I think that if Todd Cantwell's happy, he plays amazing every week. And I think that depending on his mood, depends on how he plays. So this is what I'm reading between the lines. It might be a million miles away from what's actually happening. Good player, but for me, he needs to be consistent. And this is probably my biggest gripe with this whole team at the moment, is none of them are consistently good. You've got one good game in 5, pretty much all of them. And that's no good enough. Cantwell, good player. In fact, one of my favourite players, the way he plays the game, that freedom, that kind of Maverick style, I really enjoy. It's something that I enjoy watching. All number 10 should be like that. Freedom to roam, freedom to do what he wants. But as I said, the end product's no good enough. So for me, reluctantly, I would say yes, sell him. If we can make decent money on him, sell him.
It seems to be splitting the comments, Robert, so final word to you.
Well, I was just going to say, CV is to leave and the rumours are to, then it's another area of concern in terms of being reinvestment in the squad, because Hadji's, you're going to be away. There's talks of Lawrence there, picking up some interest as well. So who's going to come in there? Silva's obviously not coming back. There's no news on Sima. So you've got all these sort of problems in terms of reinforcing positions. The midfield as well. We know Lundstrom's went away. Jack's gone as well. So it's the start of a really, really big job from Clement and Coppin. If it was me, I would keep Cantwell because I do think he offers something in terms of a bit of a maverick on the field. I don't like the social media stuff, and I was actually going to say about these young guys coming in, I'd be making sure they're not on social media. I just think it causes a problem. It gives you ammunition to the other side of the city when they're posting stuff and no lifting trophies. So, but no, I think Cantwell I'd keep for at least another season. But again, it just depends on the numbers that getting offered. Because if they're offering you 5-6 million quid, you just bite their hand off and go and invest it somewhere else.
Yeah, and listen, 100%. It's a weird one. We can't really in it because, like what Mark says, when he's on form, he's brilliant.
He's brilliant,
but his numbers are severely lacking. But then, can you put that down to the team that he's playing in? I don't know. That's why I just ask the questions and I don't give any insight.
Do you feel like Clement used him as a scapegoat maybe last season? Because there was times where he kind of pulled him off, and it was almost like a public sort of show at times with Cantwell, and it always seemed to be with Todd Cantwell. Whether he thought that was going to get the better of him, I don't know. I don't know how that was his man management type.
That was my point. I think he annoys him. I think he gets under his skin. Whether it be true or not, I mean, it might not be the case, but that's what it looks like.
Unreal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we weren't getting moaned at, then we were doing something wrong. You need to be getting moaned at. Look, you can read into everything. I mean, people, when Cantwell at the end of it was at the end of the Scottish Cup final, Clement drags him at the road or whatever. So you can read whatever you want into things. But we shall leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much for jumping on last minute and doing this. Like I say, we're back at 7:30 tonight for the Big Fat SPFL quiz. And then the member show's back on Thursday. I'll try and get a wee clip out for everybody for the member show on Friday. And then we'll be back whenever Rangers do some business and make some signings. So thank you for the super sticker from Kelly Pie for the support. Thank you very much to all the members and everybody who tuned in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you, Ian, Mark, and Robert. And well, hopefully we'll speak to you all very, very soon.